Hi everyone! Today I'm going to share with you 4 slow cooker recipes. The first recipe is barbecue brisket. In my slow cooker, I'm just going to put in some beef broth as well as some Worcester sauce. I'm just going to use the last that I have in this bottle. To that, I'm going to add in a little bit of soy sauce. I'm going to mix that all together until it's combined, and then I'm going to start getting together my seasonings for my brisket. So here's my beef brisket. It's about 2 pounds. The seasonings for the brisket are some paprika, some brown sugar, onion powder, garlic powder, salt and pepper. I'm just going to combine that all together, and then I'm going to spoon it all over my brisket and make sure to rub it in really well. I also made sure to cut off as much fat as I could off of this brisket because, as you can see, it's got lots of marbling and I didn't want a lot of excess fat in there. So I'm just going to rub it on both sides and on the top and the bottom, trying to cover it as much as possible. So I've placed my brisket in my slow cooker, and now I'm going to pour on about a cup of barbecue sauce. I'm really just going to use what's left in this bottle here. And now I'm going to cover up the brisket and turn my slow cooker on low for 8 to 10 hours. So here's the brisket after it's been cooking about 8.5 hours. As you can see, it pulls apart really nicely. You can serve this any way you like. I just pulled it apart, served it with some extra barbecue sauce on the side, and I made some quick corn fritters to serve as a side dish. The second recipe I'm going to show you is Hawaiian pineapple pork. So as you can see here, I've got a pork tenderloin. I decided to only use one because we just needed to feed 4 people. On top of the pork, I'm just going to pour on about a 1/4 cup of teriyaki sauce, and then I'm going to add about half of this can of pineapple as well as the juice to the pork. So now I'm just going to cover it up and set my crock pot to low for about 4 hours. And here is the pork after it's been done cooking. As you can see, it created a lot more liquid, so I'm just going to remove it. And to the liquid, I'm just going to add a slurry of cornstarch and water. I just did 1 tablespoon of cornstarch to 1 tablespoon of water. Set my crock pot to high and give that a nice mix until the gravy thickens up really well. So here's the final plate. I just decided to serve mine with some rice and just some steamed broccoli on the side. Okay, the next recipe we're going to make is cilantro lime chicken tacos. I'm going to start off this recipe by making the sauce that the chicken is cooked in. So to my blender here, I'm going to combine together 1/4 cup of chicken stock, a bulb of garlic, a little bit of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of cumin, 1/8 of a teaspoon of coriander, some lime juice, 1 tablespoon of honey, and about 2 tablespoons of fresh cilantro. I'm just going to put the lid on and I'm going to whiz it all together until it's fully combined into a sauce. So in my slow cooker here, I've got 2 chicken breasts. They were quite large, so I figured that would be enough to feed us. To that, I'm going to add 1 sliced onion, as well as some corn and some beans. I just kind of guessed on the amounts, but I would say maybe about a 1/2 cup of each. And then on top of all of that, I'm just going to pour on the sauce, put on the lid. I'm going to turn the slow cooker on low, and I'm going to cook it for 4 to 5 hours. So here's the chicken after it's been fully cooked. As you can see, again, lots of extra liquid on the bottom. So I'm going to take the chicken out, shred it up, put it back in, and then mix everything together. I decided to serve these chicken tacos on my homemade tortillas with a side salad. I have to say, this was the best recipe of the week, and this is definitely something I will make again. The chicken was moist and flavorful, and everybody really liked it. The last recipe I'm going to show you is lasagna. I have never actually made lasagna in my slow cooker before, so this was a new experience for me. So in this pan here, I have 1 pound of ground turkey. You can use ground beef, but I had turkey, so that's what I used. To it, I'm going to add in a little bit of garlic and an onion. Next up, I'm going to add in some tomato paste. I had about 4 tablespoons in my freezer, so that's what I threw in. And then you're going to add in any kind of jarred tomato sauce that you like. I had about half of a jar of Rao's tomato sauce, so I just added a little extra water in there to make it go a little further. For seasonings, I added some basil, some salt and pepper, and a little bit of red pepper. Next up, you're going to make your cheese mixture. I used some ricotta as well as some cottage cheese just to use it up. And then you're going to throw in 2 eggs. And although this wasn't in the recipe, I decided to add in some chopped spinach because it was in my garden and it needed to be harvested. So you're just going to want to mix this all together until it's all combined. And now it's time to start assembling the lasagna in your slow cooker. First, you want to make sure you spray your slow cooker really well with cooking spray so that nothing sticks. And then add in a little bit of tomato sauce on the very bottom of the slow cooker. Next, it's time to add in the noodles. Make sure you don't buy the kind that are the no-boil kind. You just want traditional noodles because this is going to cook for a couple of hours. This was one of the biggest problems that I had with this one, is just trying to figure out how to make these noodles kind of fit in the bottom. I did have to break quite a few of them to make them fit, but it worked out in the end. Next, you're going to want to spoon on a little bit of your ricotta mixture. Do your best to spread it out and cover it evenly on the bottom. Follow that with some of your meat sauce mixture. Again, spread it as much as you can over top of that cheese to cover everything the best you can. It was at this point that I realized that I forgot to buy mozzarella cheese. Luckily, I did have a container of the little fresh mozzarella balls, so I just used that, but the recipe does call for standard shredded mozzarella cheese. Then you just continue layering your lasagna until you've used up all your ingredients. Once you get to the top of the lasagna, make sure to add on one final layer of noodles and pour on a little bit of tomato sauce. A final sprinkling of mozzarella cheese on top makes the lasagna extra gooey and cheesy and delicious. Put the lid on and set the slow cooker to low and cook for 4 to 6 hours. So here's my lasagna after it's been cooking for about 4.5 hours. As you can see, my noodles did end up a little bit mushy, but that's okay. Next time I would just cook it for about an hour less. So I hope everybody enjoyed these recipes and you give a couple of them a try. I would definitely recommend the chicken tacos. Thanks for watching!